to be under the sea, dreaming of the sea sky with you.
Marco Bordieri, Sydney Underwater Gazette. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Emma. How are you?
Lovely, thank you. And what are we looking at under the water today?
We can see a lot of things, but today we're going to talk about the little penguins that we may find around Sydney.
Yes, I know about these little penguins because my children did a thing in their school called Project Penguin, where they have all sorts of ideas about how to protect the penguins.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
They're so lovely, and by the name is Little Penguins. It's not because they're little. I mean, it's the technical name is Little Penguins. That's the species
Yes.
that we find in Australia. People think they call it little because they're little, but actually, Little Penguin. It's the name, and it's a bird. So today, for the first time, we're talking about a bird, but not a fish. They got these wings that were, over time they were developed as flippers. So yeah, they are incredible swimmers.
They are incredible swimmers, and they like to sort of, a couple of colonies of them, aren't there? So there's one I know that's near Manly.
Yeah, there is the one which is, let's say, more famous because you may often see them coming towards Manly Cove. They come as close to the ferry, actually. They come towards Manly Cove and near the aquarium or under the jetty of Manly.
Yeah.
And that's the colony that it's normally based in North Head. It's somewhere, let's say, close to Store Beach. And is protected, especially during some season of the year. There are some volunteers protecting the transit of penguins from the burrow into the water, back and forth. The biggest risk is actually foxes, and the other colony that is bigger because the one in North Head is like 60 individuals, while the one in Lion Island is bigger, is probably 10 times bigger. It's like 600 penguins. And as a comparison, the one in Phillip Island, which is way more famous, and people go to Phillip Island to see the penguins, that's 32,000. So
yeah.
the one in Manly is really, really tiny.
Very tiny, which is why they've got all the school kids in that area who try to look after them. I know they've painted special signs on the walkways along there to put your dog on the leash. Foxes and dogs are a real problem, aren't they, for little penguins?
Yeah, especially foxes, because, well, dogs usually you can control them, so it's a matter of, owners keep them on the leash. But foxes are a problem. There has been one 6 years ago, there was one that has been killing 26 penguins. So out of 90 that were at the time at the North Head colony, 26 were killed by a penguin. So the volunteers had to stay there. Yeah, sorry. By the fox. And the volunteers have to stay there and basically patrol the beach 24 hours a day, taking rounds, and checking that the fox was not around, especially during the transit to the water.
Marco Bordieri is here. He's from Sydney Underwater Gazette. Marco, do people with, snorkeling or scuba diving see much of penguins?
Yeah, it's interesting because we are in a strategic position here in Sydney. So we are near the southernmost point of the range for sea turtles. Usually you can see sea turtles all the way to Japan, down to basically Naruma. So we can see sea turtles, for example, and we are at the northernmost point for penguins. You would hardly see any penguin north of where we are, or let's say Palm Beach, which is the northernmost. So usually, yeah, you may see them, usually not when swimming, because they tend to come up and to breathe and then to dive down, and they are not very, let's say, friendly. Usually they're not interested in divers, so they do their business. But one way to see them is if you go to the Sydney Underwater Gazette, our Facebook page. There has been an instance where one of our members, Chris Kaufman, was actually able to see and to record a little movie of this penguin. He was right in front of the old aquarium at Manly. He was swimming up and down. He was chasing a school of fish. And in the same dive, that's why I mentioned sea turtles, in the same dive, he also spotted a sea turtle. So Yeah, that's really incredible. You go diving in Manly Cove, 300 meters from the ferry, and you may see, with a little bit of luck, a penguin and a sea turtle in the same place. And I tend to associate the penguin to the cold and turtles to the warm water, so it's quite amazing.
That's pretty special, isn't it? I suppose all the normal rules apply about if you are snorkeling or diving to give these animals their space.
Well, I think they will take their space. They are so fast in swimming, they will swim out in no time. So.
Good luck chasing a penguin, is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
They are incredible. They move so beautifully, don't they, through the water?
Yeah, it's the shape. They are so hydrodynamic, so they consume so little energy in swimming. And those flippers are small but very effective. And yeah, they're really, really fast.
So, we were talking about the general weather earlier. If people have just woken up, we're looking at a mostly sunny day today, maximum of 32, chance of fog early in the morning and a slight chance of a shower or a possible thunderstorm during the afternoon or early evening. What does the weather impact on the visibility below the water, Marco?
Let's say the sunlight is not impacting much, other than clearly with the sun through the water, the colors are better and visibility is a bit better. So I would say, generally speaking, it's always nicer and more pleasant to go diving with the sun, but
yes,
that's not holding us back. And the biggest issue is the swell, especially if it's coming from directions like southeast, because most of the bays in Sydney are open to southeast, so they're not protected. It means that you get into the water, it becomes choppy, becomes dangerous. But for this weekend, there is a limited swell coming from northeast, so most of the beach is going to be protected. And the other element is the wind, again, because of the wind chop. So basically, wind chop is a local swell, which is not the one you find in the ocean, but it's locally created, like in Botany Bay. If there is wind from south, you get this wind chop that is forming over the 2 kilometers across the bay, so which, again, could be annoying for the visibility and for getting into the water. So, yeah, the guidance is probably to go today because of the nice weather. Tomorrow is going to be similar from the underwater perspective. Average visibility around 5 meters, but definitely tomorrow is going to be windy and rainy. So,
not as nice getting in and out. And what about the rain on the surface? Does that give you much bother, or does it not really matter if it's raining above?
No, not really. I mean, it's you really don't care about the rain on the surface, but if it's raining a lot, it's been raining for a few days, then you got the water which basically collected from the ground and ends up in the ocean. So yeah, if there is a lot of rain, then the rain may drag all the dirt and the particles from land into the water. So to the point that some places like Cabbage Tree Bay, Shelley Beach, and Chowder Bay, or also known as Clifton Gardens, get a sign. After a big storm, they get a sign that it is not safe to go swimming because of the pollution.
Well, thanks so much, Marco, for joining us again on Weekends. You have a lovely weekend.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Marco Bordieri there from the Sydney Underwater Gazette.